We're live. We're live. Hey, so welcome back. It's Thursday. We got one more day in this crazy, crazy week, and there's so much stuff going on in Washington, D.C. I've had some great conversations today and really reflecting on what we're doing as the Untamed Nation. How do we grow? How do we give people a voice? This morning I was on Will Johnson's podcast, and he brought up some great things about USADA. But today we're going to concentrate, I think, more on why the reactions. Why are we getting the reactions that we're getting, and from whom? So today, buckle up. We got a lot to talk about.
Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Well, here we go.
It seems my colleagues are determined to confirm him on the Senate floor.
There we go. Sorry, something was going off in my ear. Okay, so today was, we got 2 out of 3. Let's talk about what's going on with the confirmation of RFK. Congratulations to Bobby on being the director and heading up the HHS, as well as Tulsi Gabbard. But here is Bobby getting sworn in. I want to at least show you this. This is a huge win, an absolutely huge win for us. We put that picture up. Oh, there it is. Okay. And then you have Don and Tulsi Gabbard after he was confirmed. He's going to turn things on its head. And I think that they're going to have a hard time trying to figure out, what do they do with this? Because in essence, somewhere along the line, there's going to be retribution. And here's the exact moment when RFK was confirmed by the Senate last night. And here's the kicker. And you need to pay attention to this. You know, Mitch McConnell, the guy that sits there and just stares aimlessly and has to be told what's happening. Here, they're whispering in his ear. Mitch McConnell voted no. Let's go ahead and play it.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 48. The confirmation is confirmed. Just number 4? Yeah.
So I would be remiss if I didn't show you the difference, and the left is going crazy over this. The HHS is responsible for the health, for the services, the things that are most important to the American people. And I want to show you the difference between the old HHS leadership and the new HHS leadership. Now, don't pay attention to the fact that he's only lifting, I don't even know, Apollo, this isn't that much. I mean, he definitely is going higher reps and lower weight. But let's go ahead and put this up. This is the old and then the new.
So I'll show you the here's the old. Here's the old.
That's a he bitch. That's a he.
The he bitch.
You know why we call them he bitches? We call them he bitches because he was not man enough to be a man, so he turned himself into a woman. But he's still a man. So he's a he bitch. And here is Bobby. What is that? A 25 and a 10 to 35, 70, like 115?
Run it. Let's go. Up.
I mean, what? Okay, so it's 100. What is it? Apollo? Did I get that right? 115. So 45, 70. Yeah, 115. It's not a lot, but it's still more than the he bitch could actually lift for sure. I'm just telling you, that's the new nickname for him, he bitch. Now I'm just saying it's obvious that when we talk about health, you have to look at the person that is concentrating on his health and the person that frankly needs help on the mental health side. A dude dressing up like a woman trying to pretend that you can somehow turn in. I can't square this entire deal. But here is the moment by which Pam Bondi swore in Tulsi Gabbard. So let's go ahead and play that.
Foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And that I take this obligation freely.
And that I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully.
And that I will well and faithfully.
Discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
Discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, so here's where it starts to get. And by the way, Mitch McConnell voted no on Tulsi as well. So Mitch McConnell's 0 for 3 on major confirmations, 0 for 4. And now we have Kash Patel. And they saved Kash Patel for last because I think that they're going to use this as an opportunity to not confirm Kash Patel. And before I actually put that up and talk about that, I'm going to read something to you that I got yesterday and then I had to get on and actually confirm. So I'm going to redact a part of this. Part of this was I put it on my X channel at 3:00 in the morning. Couldn't sleep. He said, "Hey bro, I had lunch today with," and I'm going to say redacted, "and a current HSI employee. The current employee told us that they were on an ICE Denver-led joint op with the FBI. Each ICE vehicle had an FBI agent in the vehicle partnered with their ICE partner agent. They were en route to the op when all of the FBI agents received a simultaneous text message on their phones. The FBI agents requested the ICE agents to pull over on the side of the road, and all the FBI agents exited the vehicles and did not participate with ICE. WTF is going on? This is a coup against the president. Can you please forward this to someone that can look into this so that it can be held accountable before they go do further harm to our country and get people killed?" All right. So that was sent to me. And it said, he said, "This came from my buddy. No BS. This is going to come to a fight that probably needs to be fought." Kash Patel, head of the FBI. Just going to put that out there. Hopefully he gets to find out who sent what text messages to what phones. Hopefully they're already watching what's going on in the FBI. But here's the moment yesterday, and they've been stalling on this for quite some time, pushed it off an additional week. But here's the moment that Kash Patel actually got out of the committee. And here's the last minute or so. Let's play it.
After we vote on the favorably reporting the nomination of Kash Patel to be Director of Federal Bureau of Investigation, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Gordon. Aye.
Used to be in a pen.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz.
Aye.
Mr. Hawley.
Aye.
Mr. Tillis.
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy.
Aye.
Mrs. Blackburn. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mrs. Britt. Aye. Mrs. Moody. Aye. Mr. Durbin.
No.
Mr. Whitehouse.
No.
Ms. Klobuchar.
No.
Mr. Cruz.
He wants no by proxy.
No by proxy.
Mr. Blumenthal.
No. I guess until we.
Ms. Serrano.
No.
Mr. Booker.
No.
Mr. Padilla.
No.
Welch.
No.
Mr. Schiff.
No.
Chairman Grassley.
Aye.
On this vote, the ayes are 12, the nays are 10.
The vote of 12 to 10, the nomination will be favorably reported to the.
All right, so I want to look at something really quick. Number one, Senator Grassley needs to retire. as do most of the other people that are in that room. Now, you have a room filled with liars. You heard that Booker said no. You have all these people. Klobuchar said no. And it passed to get out of committee into, they had won by proxy, but to get into the Senate vote. I'm going to just go towards predicting something really quick. Mitch McConnell, I don't believe right now he has the votes to pass. Matter of fact, that's the text message I just got. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope that as I'm actually talking about this right now, he's getting confirmed in the Senate. The problem is that are they going to give President Trump everything he wants? And does Kash Patel have the stomach to do everything that he said he would do if he got into office? Those are the questions that everyone has. Now, I got to tell you right now, I think Kash Patel is going to light it on fire. Are they going to let someone who has as much far-reaching powers as the FBI reach in and strangle out the intelligence community's kind of disconnected hold on our entire country? Is he going to have the ability, or is he? I think he has the ability, but is he going to have the stomach for investigating federal judges? Is Congress going to have the stomach for going after federal judges and impeaching them for partisan hack jobs and going after and creating this environment where they put thousands of Americans through trials for what was never an insurrection? So there's just a lot of different things. You heard Dick Durbin before talk about this. I pray that he does. I think you all need to pray that he is confirmed. He needs to be confirmed. But I don't know if that will be the reality based upon what we're seeing. It's just a different vibe. The different vibe going to the Senate with Kash Patel than it is with the others. And remember, the FBI can do some pretty massive amount of damage to the radical left. And so are we in a place where that would be possible? We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about Ukraine and Russia. I'm going to talk to you about some of the other things that we're going to be that frankly we're facing as a country. And let's find a way to kind of wrap this all up with Eric Coomer and Dominion Voting Systems and some of the stuff that's been placed out there that we talked about 4 years ago. We'll be right back.
Do you want to get profits from the world's most productive oil basin? Bloomberg calls the Permian Basin the world's most important growth engine for oil production. Now there's a way for everyday investors to collect monthly checks from an incredible oil hotspot. It's not a stock, and it's not an ETF. Instead, you can actually own royalty rights on over 380,000 acres of prime oil and gas fields. The best part? 95% of all income from this investment gets paid directly to investors like you. You can simply sit back and collect the royalty checks month after month. You can get started with just $25 through any brokerage account. Visit oilboom2025.com to learn more about the opportunity from the Oxford Club's chief income strategist, Mark Lichtenfield. That's oilboom2025.com to learn how to start collecting Permian Basin oil royalties today. Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF Guns. What is DCF Guns, you ask? We're the best damn gun store and range in the universe. Do we have guns? We have all the guns. We got small guns. We got big guns. We even have beastly guns. We offer all types of training, and we have 5 ranges across our 3 locations. I'm a good shot. And of course, we have all types of ammo. We even have flamethrowers. Woo! We offer incredible membership opportunities, and members save even more on guns, ammo, and accessories. Military, both active and retired, and first responders get up to 40% off memberships. Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter.
Hi. It was around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and I received an email from PayPal. It showed in this email that there was a debit in my PayPal account that was going to be taken out. I don't remember following the link in the email even. I think I went straight to the PayPal account, and that pending debit was there. And it was for about $1,000, I believe, so it was a lot of money. So I called the phone number on that email. And it kind of, the way this guy was talking, I didn't even question what he was saying. And I've worked with computers for the past 40 years. And he just kept convincing me, and he was a legitimate person that was going to fix my computer, and I had faith in him that he was doing his job. I got in the car and I drove, and I was just thinking, this isn't right. I've given this guy enough money to buy like 2 computers. So I came home and I just thought about it some more, and I called my wife had come home. I was by myself. I had to fix the computer, fix my phone, change my bank accounts, change all of my passwords. I mean, I went through like 2 weeks of going through everything I owned, changing everything that I had because of this guy calling me for those 2 or 3 hours. How did I fall for this? And it was a very traumatic experience. I know I wasn't the only one out there that had fallen for this. Listen to yourself and think about it before you do anything, and don't just trust somebody, even though it's so believable somehow. I don't. If you feel comfortable getting a software to help you to find out, who might be that actually track these scams, do it. I mean, if they feel that's something important to you, do it.
All right, welcome back. Apollo. Russia, 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 Russia.
Oh, you mean the same thing that they've been yelling for the last few years?
Russia, 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 Russia. I got called so it was a weird conversation with someone who's there, said that I'm a Russian asset.
Oh, I miss those times, man. It's been a while. It's been 3 years since that started.
Do you remember do you remember the clown? Do you remember the clown? The one that the he-bitch, the other he-bitch that went over to Ukraine that sued me. So this he-bitch,
Sarah, right?
Yeah. Is it Sarah? Yeah. What was his real name though? Mike something or other.
Yeah, some Cirillo, and it was like
Cirillo,
Billy, like Billy Cirillo
Billy.
or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. So I got sued, and he lost. The he-bitch lost. Now the other one's going to lose is Eric Coomer, but they wrote all these articles about the fact that I didn't support Ukraine and that I was anti-American for not supporting Ukraine. I did not know that it was the United States of Ukraine. Did you?
I was unaware, although we've been voluntold that it is. I mean, shit, we could have bought the country 8 times over.
And we just found out that USAID has been funding all these radicals to say and do the things that they're doing. It's actually going to be magnificent when it comes to the lawsuits that get filed, because the more and more they uncover, we're going to do some records requests and get access to every dollar that was spent by USAID, and we're just going to start the lawsuits. It's going to be really great. Matter of fact, we're currently in the process of hiring an attorney. So we're hiring an attorney to that's all they're going to do all day long is just sue people. Because frankly, I think that's where it's come to, that we should uncover every judge that stands in the way of progress, and we should uncover every individual, every news agency, and they should have to pay. They should have to pay, not just for what they did to me, but what they did to many, many other people. But Apollo, President Trump had a conversation, and he had a conversation with he had a conversation with both Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. I'm not sure that either one of them liked the conversation, but I don't know. I wasn't on the call. But he said this morning, he says, great talks with Russia and Ukraine yesterday, good possibility of ending that horrible, very bloody war. That's what he had to say this morning. after speaking with Putin, now keep in mind, I don't know if this signals something, but President Trump called Putin first. And then he called Zelensky to tell him about the conversation he had with Putin. And this was a pretty interesting kind of take on that. This is Fox News' take on what's happening and whether or not Ukraine is going to be able to follow through with what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. Let's go ahead and play it.
President Trump has just spoken with Russian President Putin, and some details come directly from the president. He has just put out on his Truth Social, and so it's everywhere now, that they discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, and the dollar. He also revealed the two agreed to visit each other's countries. He said, I had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. I just read what he said they talked about. We both reflected on the great history of our nations and the fact that we fought so successfully together in World War II, remembering that Russia lost tens of millions of people, as we likewise lost so many. We each talked about the strengths of our respective nations and the great benefit that we will someday have in working together. But first, as we both agreed, so this is Trump posting about his recent call just moments ago with Putin. He said, but first, as we both agreed, we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia and Ukraine. President Putin even used my very strong campaign motto of common sense. We both believe very strongly in it. We agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. We also have agreed to our respective terms, starting negotiations immediately. And we will begin by calling President Zelensky of Ukraine to inform him of the conversation, something which I will be doing right now. So this is playing out contemporaneously as we're here live on Outnumbered. I have asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of CIA John Radcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Ambassador and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to lead the negotiations, which I feel strongly about will be successful. Millions of people have died in a war that would have not happened if I were president, but it did happen, so it must end. No more lives should be lost, President Trump writes. I want to thank President Putin for his time and effort with respect to this call and for the release yesterday of Mark Fogel, a wonderful man that I personally greeted last night at the White House. I believe this effort will lead to a successful conclusion. Hopefully soon, the president of the...
You know, we have to look at this from a couple perspectives. One, it was a very detailed conversation about what they wanted to have happen, but it was also the first admission that millions of lives and upwards of 10 million lives were lost in these battles. And you think about 10 million people have to die in order to get to a place where we have peace. Think about that. And think about this country that was used as a proxy by the United States in order to stop things from coming to light in Ukraine that would have implicated some people in the West and the United States. You could say, Joe, that's not the case. It is absolutely the case. And some of you actually support Ukraine. And when you support Ukraine, I said before, I can never stand on the side of the devil, not for 1 minute. And two things cannot be true at the same time. Biden cannot be a good person and advocate for opening borders and trafficking women and children and allowing really bad things to happen to Americans and raising prices and cutting off our supplies to energy and doing all of those just horrendous things that they did in order to persecute Americans. And then tell me that he's supporting Ukraine and somewhere along the line, that's the righteous move. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. But after President Trump had a conversation with Putin and after he called Zelensky even thought to himself, you know what, I don't know if I have a choice. That's the feeling I get from the body language that I see on the little midget Zelensky. So let's hear what he has to say. I'll read off the kind of the teleprompter on the bottom to the people that are on the audio version. Let's go and play it.
Персональна відповідальність урядовців і конкретно міністра охорони здоров'я. Друге, за сьогодні дуже предметні перемовини.
Negotiations with the United States of America. I had a conversation with President Trump. A good and detailed discussion. I'm grateful to the president for his genuine interest and our shared opportunities and how we can work together to bring real peace closer. It was a long conversation. We discussed many aspects, the diplomatic, military, economic, and the President Trump informed me of what Putin had told him. We believe that America's strength is sufficient to pressure Russia and Putin into peace, together with us, together with all our partners. I also met with U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent. We are preparing an agreement that will strengthen our security and give new momentum to our economic relations. And we plan to work out all the details so that we can present them within the framework of the Munich conference. And at our meetings with American representatives there, including the Vice President Vance, so that we have a finalized vision of how to add more security and what document can formalize it. And one more thing. I guess that was it.
I can play the rest if you want it, but that was the gist.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to play the rest of it. He ends it but with something, though. He ends it with glory to Ukraine. Slava Ukraine. Apollo, where's the glory in millions of, if not 10 million Ukrainians dying? Where is it?
There's no glory in Ukrainians dying, in Russians dying. None of this was glorious, as much as they'd like to, try and convince the rest of the world. Just as, he, before Trump got in, said we're never going to give up this fight, and then he went around begging, and all of these people who claim to be on the side of the people would throw people, as cannon fodder. Just as they've sold out Americans and sent American lives to die over there and sold out American lives in Afghanistan, there's no honor in any of this. And that goes all the way back to, well over a year, 2 years ago, when Trump said, they asked him very clearly, well, will you say, you don't want Ukraine to win? You don't want Ukraine to win the war? Do you want Russia? They tried to corner him on CNN, and he just said, I want people to stop dying. And that's the difference in, state policy and in our communities when they talk about tough on crime and gun control and all these civil rights BS movements. That's actually the critical piece, and that's the difference in actual leadership. Is they're looking out for lives, while the past administration and people like Zelensky, who are actors, are looking out for their own interests and for the agenda that they're just playing a role in. That's why all of a sudden these people are trying to pivot. And I mean, him saying Slava Ukraine is like the most ironic thing, because that, in essence, though they didn't paint it that way, was essentially a war call to continue shedding blood so that they could steal money.
And I mean, you simplified it to a large degree, but I think it's got to be bigger than that. I mean, it's got to be something we're not seeing. I think it has more to do with what was going on in Ukraine for decades before. It was 2014 that the CIA finally admitted that they had supplanted and was inside of Ukraine. That's the same year as the Maidan coup. And if you look at what's happened in Ukraine related to elections, you still have Zelensky saying that he is not going to relent in a new election. He's the most unpopular person in the entire nation. Everywhere you turn, nobody wants anything to do with this clown. They just don't. And we put him on a pedestal, and we put up this very unpopular, very evil and sadistic individual on some sort of pedestal. And I got to believe that, to a certain degree, President Trump's not a stupid man. He knows. But why do we go through and put this charade in front of the American people? Why is it that we're so afraid of the truth that we won't talk about it? Why do we why do we cater to the bullshit? And then if you don't agree with Zelensky, all of a sudden you're a Russian asset. Like, I'm not a Russian, I'm an American. And at some point, we've got to stop the bullshit. Stop sending money over there while we basically step on the throats of people in America. And
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's like kind of a weird deliciousness to it, because now you see this guy who said he was never going to give this up, and the evil Russians. And now, suddenly look at him. He's getting on TV saying, well, we can talk about peace. So there's a kind of a not so cute little change of face there. But I mean, what happens when they actually, if like God willing, that people really do see all the money that has been going over there and what it's actually been going to, and the horrible thing that they've actually been doing. And Zelensky doesn't have any pretense.
What's it going to lead to? No,
exactly.
Tell me one person that's been arrested. Just one. Just give me one person. Give me a name.
Ghislaine, and then nothing came of that. Epstein, he died supposedly.
Tell me one elitist that's gone to jail. You have Weinstein. Is that it? So you can go to jail after you rape people for 30 years? Have your fun for 30 years. You're getting ready to die anyway. We'll put you in jail and disgrace you. He doesn't care. He's a demon. What does he care? But show me one person. Show me one congressman. Show me one person holistically throughout all of them, left or right, Democrat or Republican, that was held accountable for this behavior. I mean, now they're running around saying that, maybe there's waste and fraud, as if it's a small thing. Fuck these people. I'm just going to say it. Fuck them. These people have been stealing from the American people for decades. You got a $200,000 salary a year, and you're worth $203 million. How square that? And by the way, your husband, the gay hammer guy, the gay guy that likes to hang out with the hammer guy, somehow that genius, who's as dumb as a rock, just like Pelosi, batted 100% better than Bernie Madoff in real life, and turned $200,000 a year into $200 million. And Ilhan Omar's worth $27 million,
Pelosi, all of them.
I mean, stop. You give me $3-4 million, I'll turn it into $100 million. Matter of fact, if someone wouldn't have taken my money, it flies in the face. I almost did it. I almost literally let all those things. If Tina Peters was not in the middle of a trial of trying to get her out under this habeas corpus, and there wasn't a couple other things that I need, for people's sake, I need to hold off on, let me tell you something. I'd be going scorched earth right now. I would, wouldn't I, Paula? I absolutely.
I believe you. Well, I mean, just think about it on the people's, aspect again. They've, now there's all this info coming out like, oh, well, look at what they did to all the people during the storms. They said, oh, well, we don't have any money, right? They didn't have any money to give to the states. Then California pretended they were going to help out people like they did in Maui. And then it was like, oh, they found like, what was it, like $1.5 billion or something like that, or close to $2 billion that they just had sitting around in some FEMA money. And then you had Mayorkas getting on the, we don't have the, how much was it?
$59 million went to hotels to house illegals. They got that money back yesterday, though. So that money did come back. I think the hotels were like, well, now we got to evict all these people.
Well, my point is, you say, like, what's going to come of it? What would have happened if Trump was in there? What was that money going to go? Because they told us they didn't have it. So it was going to go somewhere.
Bro, they're only uncovering things that have happened over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody has actually scratched the surface of what this looked like when it was under Trump, first term. This is not small potatoes. This has been going on for decades. These people have been stealing from us, handing it to their spouses and sisters and brothers, funneling that money right back in and putting it in the kitty. And the reality of it is we have to pay for it. We have to pay for all this stuff. But every person, man, oh boy, I'm going to come back to this. Well, once we're done with the federal government, we shouldn't be waiting on that, by the way. We need to doge all 50 states. At the state level, I promise you the waste is probably 70%, 75%. It's ridiculously high. If you were to cut out 70% of the budgets at the state level, you wouldn't have to pay property tax on your house. You wouldn't be an institutional slave. You wouldn't have toll roads that every road out there collects tens of millions of dollars from the American people every single day. Every day. And it's just, it flies in the face of basic decency for what they've done to the American people. It's sickening. Paulo, it's sickening. But here's what Trump said about the whole Ukraine deal. I get back to it. Or I punch somebody in the face. He had this to say. He said that they will get access to something I think is important. Again, creating wealth for the United States. And I'm sickened by that. The United States is going to, at least they're coming through the front door and saying, I'm going to take all your shit. It's better than what they did in Iraq and Afghanistan and some of these other countries. But he had this to say. Let's go ahead and play it. Cut 4.
We're getting security on our money. We're going to have it secured by, they have rare earth and they have oil and gas and they have a lot of other things. And we're asking for security on our money.
So does it mean you are not sending any
They've
more
agreed to it.
Ukraine?
Ukraine has agreed to it.
Does it mean you are not sending any more aid to Ukraine?
No, we are, but we want it secured, and the money is going to be secured.
When will the U.S. stop sending funding? When will the U.S. stop sending funding?
Because if we didn't do that, then Putin would say he won. We're the thing that's holding it back. And frankly, we'll go as long as we have to go, because we're not going to let the...
I'm going to have to disagree. Putin can say he won. I don't know how you win when you have your own people dying. And who the fuck cares who wins? You know what I mean? Who cares? Who cares who gets to say they won? Is it because, they saw that they could win here, maybe they'll do it somewhere else? You mean like not respecting the sovereignty of nations and sending the CIA in with people like, they did it in Mongolia. Eric Coomer was there too, and stealing the sovereignty of the people so they can install people into power so they can control entire nations. Is that the type of winning that we're supposed to do? Or just help me with this. I'm just trying to be Captain Obvious here. I mean, what kind of, well, if you get away with it once, you can do it a bunch more. You think he's just going to go after another NATO country? I mean, he signed the Minsk Accords for a reason. NATO said that they would not expand any further east, and they did. They said they wouldn't do things, and they did all the things that they said they wouldn't do, including the Chancellor of Germany that basically said that it was a ruse and that they signed the Minsk Accords under false pretense. That's her words, not mine. And all of a sudden, we care about who wins this war? It's not our war. Oh, shit. But it is. It is. And so you have the blood of what, 10 million? 10 million Ukrainians on our hands? And I already told you, I stood on the side of Russia twice, every day on Sunday, or every day and twice on Sunday. Why? Because I knew the reality of it. We can't respect the sovereignty of a nation. You guys will get mad at me. I get the FUs. I'm going to go get like 10 texts or 15 texts. Like, Joe, you don't understand. Well, how many countries you guys been to? How many you been to? I've been to a lot. How many people do you know that are over in that environment? I know quite a few. I also know that they lie to us every chance that they get a chance to lie to us. Now, President Trump is telling us the quiet part out loud. He's speaking the truth. Doge is speaking the truth about what's happening. But we still we can't see how deep that pot of rot is. And I promise you, it's much deeper than that. Well, here's Pete Hegseth saying, he confirmed that there will be no U.S. troops on the ground in Ukraine. But more importantly than that, this was kind of a weird set of events. Apollo, I can't pull it up. It won't let me pull it up. Did they accuse the Pentagon chief of treason? Let me kind of go through this. This is Jim Ferguson's book. Pentagon chief accused of treason after Trump-Putin call, but he just dropped a bombshell. No U.S. troops to Ukraine. The war machine in full panic mode after Secretary Pete Hegseth shut down any chance of U.S. boots on the ground in Ukraine. Why would we send U.S. boots to Ukraine? After Trump's historic call with Putin, globalists and neocons are furious, accusing Hegseth of treason for daring to pursue peace instead of endless wars. Let's hear what he has to say. This is just a short clip of Pete Hegseth talking about all things in the rotted apparatus of the United States of America. Let's play it.
Isn't your plan for Ukraine actually a betrayal of all the Ukrainian soldiers who gave their lives defending the whole of their country? And isn't it just a reward for dictators who use military strength to take what they want?
Well, that's your language, not mine. Certainly not a betrayal. As I said to our allies yesterday, we recognize the incredible commitment that has been made over many years, and no country as the President Trump has pointed out, has made a larger commitment to the Ukrainian mission than the United States of America, north of $300 billion. So the United States has invested in stabilizing those front lines after the aggression of Russia. There is no betrayal there. There is a recognition that the whole world and the United States is invested and interested in peace, a negotiated peace.
There's a lot to be said about what he just said, but I have to tell you, John Bolton, you know, the war hawk, the one that got an award from the USAID that's a grenade, he had something to say. And I want you to pay attention to this because a lot of what we're going through right now, guys, is just an op. And President Trump is this unmovable force. But on top of that unmovable force is another really big problem. Let's hear what John Bolton, getting on to CIA-NN, had to say.
You believe Putin sees Trump as what you described as an easy mark. You were there for their first meeting in Helsinki. What are your expectations for this one?
Well, I don't have any expectations anymore. I think we know exactly what's going to happen. President Trump has effectively surrendered to Putin before the negotiations have even begun.
He's surrendering to Putin. My disdain for politicians runs deep. They stuff their faces, steal from the American people. It's a thirst that can't be quenched. They make you institutional slaves, take everything from you, make you work really hard at every level, and make sure that they take any and all meat off the bone, making your life more difficult, which leads to a lot of just bad stuff happening in the lives of Americans. I mean, the divorce rate in America, because of all this propaganda, which was basically paid for by these radicals, is obvious. You have grooming of children in elementary school. You have opportunity deserts in the inner cities that is actually funded by the very people that sit on their high horse and say that, oh, it's the Republicans doing it when there's not a Republican in sight. You have judges, I said this morning, you have judges that are so rotted to the core and so invested in a criminal system that they have to create marks. They have to create people that they can send into those systems. 80, 85, 90%, the number is staggering. The privatized prison system, who invests in it? I'm going to tell you who invests in it. Most of the system, most of the judges that are on the bench, invest in privatized prison systems. And here's something you should know about that. Now let's put aside, and I know I'm taking a zig and a zag here, but you have John Bolton that's up there saying that President Trump is capitulating to Putin because he doesn't want more people to die. So Bolton's right. We should have more people die. Just keep the war going. Don't come up with a solution. That is exactly what our country is founded on, is the idea of let's just sustain the problem and bilk and grift from the American people over and over and over again. By the way, while we steal elections with impunity, we make you drive on roads you got to pay for, give us 56 cents on every dollar, and make sure that you don't own a damn thing. You own nothing. We get to tell you what you can do with your land. We get to charge you every year for your land. You get to rent that shit from us. Privatized prison system. Let's go back to it. 25 cents a minute. That's what they charge in order to have a conversation with Tina Peters. 25 cents a minute. On a system right now that I could replace their entire phone system, including recording devices and using AI, and an entire prison system that had 4,000 people and 400 trunk lines. I can replace that entire system for less than $500 a month. I could put a 3CX system in there, cost $500 a month, and these are people that are in prison that don't have any money, and they charge 25 cents a minute in order to have a phone call. And it could be a person that's literally right down the block. 25 cents a minute. They charge anywhere between $5 and $7 for a bag of ramen noodles. If you want to put money on their commissary account, they charge you an additional $4 and maximum you can put $25 or $50 on those accounts. Everywhere you turn. I forgot about this part. And while they're in, they have to work and they get paid 10 cents an hour to work. And we don't know who's guilty and who's innocent. You don't know. I mean, there's some obvious cases of people that are guilty of committing crimes. But there's many more cases that are not so obvious. Everyone wants to say the United States is this beautiful place and it's the best in the world. And it is. So what does that tell you about the rest of the world? I mean, we can't fix problems because they don't want us to fix the problems. They won't even address what Elon Musk is saying about the waste. They won't even address it. And frankly, they don't want to address it. They want to walk past it and they want to say that here's this unelected bureaucrat that's inside of our business. It's pretty sad. I agree with some of the things that President Trump is doing. I disagree with others. Our biggest problem, and he addressed this too. I want to just talk about some of the stuff that President Trump is doing that I agree. It's great. It's great. I just don't think it's the number one problem. But then again, when you're in the soup salad of all the stuff that they put in front of you, all the chaos, how do you pick what to fix first when it's literally riddled with such a degraded environment? It's hard to see top from bottom or bottom from top. But here's President Trump talking about reciprocal tariffs on any country that's ripping off America. Let's go ahead and play it.
And on trade, I have decided for purposes of fairness that I will charge a reciprocal tariff, meaning whatever countries charge the United States of America, we will charge them. No more, no less. In other words, they charge us a tax or tariff, and we charge them the exact same tax or tariff. Very simple. Nobody knows what that number is unless you go by the individual country. You can see what it is if you go to the individual country and you look at what they're charging us. In almost all cases, they're charging us vastly more than we charge them, but those days are over.
Those days should be over. And then here's a cut of them talking about, and I'm not sure that I understand the implications of this because we're talking about very small numbers compared to the full realm of what we spend as a country. But if we send out $370 billion in taxes from our taxpayers, we get back about $50 billion. Sounds like a fair trade. Let's go ahead and play it.
Nearly all economists have said that tariffs will be bad for the American consumer. So what does the president know here on tariffs that seemingly every other economist doesn't?
That it's just false that it's necessarily bad for consumers. And a way to think about it is imagine right now, we did the estimate that last year U.S. U.S.-based companies paid foreign governments $370 billion in taxes. Meanwhile, foreign companies paid the U.S. $57 billion in taxes. So we mailed foreign governments $370 billion in taxes, and those taxes are being paid for by U.S. citizens. And so if you think that asymmetry is something that could be addressed, could be improved upon, and if we did that, it would be good for U.S. citizens. Right? Is it good for U.S. citizens to mail $370 billion to them while they're sending $57 billion to us? And are we supposed to keep doing that because of some economic model that doesn't have the whole real world in it, says that we're better off because of inflation if we keep sending $370 billion to foreign governments? It just doesn't make sense. And so if you'd like, we could go to the blackboard and talk about the economic modeling and the elasticity of supply versus demand and all that stuff. But I usually save that for Ali Velshi.
I will happily...
He's going to equalize it so that we get $370 billion, $60 billion back. Or I'm just a little bit, I don't know. This is not the biggest problem that we're facing right now. The biggest problem we're fighting is bloat within our country and is the treasonous traitors within our country, not the ones that are overseas. I mean, yeah, you could cut it. You could put a tariff on. Maybe he's just solving all the little holes first. And by cutting off FEMA and cutting off all the dollars that were coming in for illegals, at the same time that we have people inside the community, as we talked about yesterday, that are standing up and allowing illegals to just, to evade capture. And by the way, Holman is not out there trying to get a mom and dad and their 3 kids that are just sending their kids to school, and he's working. He's going after the criminals first. Now, will he get down to the people that are here illegally that are taking entitlements? Yes. Will he force the hand of states and say, if you hand out entitlements, you will get no federal assistance? Probably. Here's Eric Adams asking for an emergency meeting with Trump because they're running out of money. Now, I want to tell you something. If you want to see a state that if Doge got a hold of the state of New York and the economy of New York City specifically, it would cut, I bet you it would cut 70, 80% out of the budget. 70 to 80%. Let's go ahead and play this.
Give everyone in our care. There's nothing going to change with that. There's a level of consistency, what we have accomplished, and we're going to continue to do that.
But Adams' resolve is already being tested. City Hall confirming that the federal government has now clawed back more than $80 million in FEMA grants the Biden administration awarded the city to house migrants. Adams says that they are requesting an emergency meeting with FEMA and are exploring all legal options.
We have reached out to the White House. We want to find out exactly what took place. It was unfortunate the previous administration left us with a huge price tag, and we want to sit down and explain how we should believe that the cost of the national issue should not be on the backs of our city.
But immigration is one of the reasons why the Justice Department is asking prosecutors to drop the charges, writing in their memo that Adams' indictment was pulling his focus away from issues like illegal immigration and crime. Coincidentally, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, is meeting with Adams in the city on Thursday. But Adams' attorney Alex Spiro insists that Adams never promised anything in order to get these charges dropped.
Of course not. That's absurd. There is no looming threat. This case is over. This case will never be brought back. It wasn't a real case in the first place.
Paul, did you just hear that? They dropped the case against Adams?
Yeah.
So they dropped the case against Adams. So who is it over the last 5 years that has gotten the edge of the sword on their throat? Anybody in government?
Certainly none of these demons. I mean, we've seen, there were some raids, I think that had to do with Adams. It was one of his aides. And did something come of that? Well, I don't see anything.
It wasn't a real case.
Yeah, it was never a real case, never going to be a real case. Okay.
It's never going to be a real case. So then why did you charge him? If it wasn't a real case, why did you charge him? Do you see what's happening here? It's controlled opposition. They get to decide at any point who they're going to prosecute or persecute. And if you don't decide to play ball, and now he's deciding to play ball. Now he's deciding to play the playbook of the Democrats. I don't know what you call it. But no one has been held accountable in government at all over the last 4 years. No one. Not one. Give me one. Give me one. Fake insurrection. Anybody held accountable for it? Nope.
Not yet. Not a person.
Money being laundered out into Act Blue. Was Act Blue held accountable? Nope. How about Letitia James or Hochul for the governor of New York? They held accountable. How about Dana Nessel in Michigan? Held accountable?
No. Whitmer? No.
How about Ruby and Shea down in Georgia? Held accountable?
No.
I mean, they went to sing like birds to the police. FBI swooped in, took them out, took $160 million from Giuliani, sued Gateway Pundit. They settled because the lawyers were too fucking stupid to actually get a deposition. They set them up. They set up Gateway Pundit. You know what? My attorneys set me up on this whole case with Coomer. by not arguing the right thing. We have these judges and these attorneys are all hooked at him. And but show me one of them that actually went to jail. Any.
Yeah, we haven't
Just
seen
one.
any real public accountability yet at all.
None. Even today, we talk about the fact that they claw back cash and fire federal employees. But you still don't have how did Nancy Pelosi get $200 million? Why do we not have access to all the stock tips that she has access to? Why is it that we
trading the last month?
It's retarded. Whole thing is just it's and the reason why it upsets me so much is because we literally are sitting here going, well, because, and I'm sorry to be a Debbie Downer on Thursday. I'll be non Debbie Downer tomorrow. But I look at it and say, are we this stupid? Are we this stupid that we're going to allow them to take from us what does not belong to them? And let me just tell you something. If anyone in this country does not pay their property tax on their house, do they come and take it from you? Yes. Do they take your business if you screw up on a tax form? Yes. Can they charge you any amount of taxes and fees that they want? Yes. Yeah, it's the freest country on earth. That not one person in the elite environment is held accountable. Not one person. Not one. And I'm sorry that I'm being Captain Obvious to you. And I think what President Trump is doing is amazing. Governor Kathy Hochul put off Trump's meeting. She was going to have a meeting with Trump. She put off a meeting with President Trump because of a DOJ lawsuit against New York over sanctuary status. She postponed the meeting with President Trump after the Department of Justice revealed it was suing New York State over its policies limiting cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. Hochul had planned to meet with Trump for lunch, but rescheduled for next week instead. A source told the Post the governor and Trump had already tentatively agreed to sit down when she was in Washington, D.C. for the National Governors Association meeting last week. Pam Bondi is suing them, but the reality of it is that enough? Is it enough? Is this the hard-hitting thing that the American people wanted? But then this happened. Pam Bondi announced that she has charged Kathy Hochul and Letitia James for failing to enforce immigration law. Let's hear what she has to say. This was literally yesterday. I'm not sure that the word charged is right, but let's go ahead and play it.
We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
But it really doesn't stop today. Because if you charge someone, this is where you play on words. When you charge someone, you have them picked up and put in handcuffs. Apollo, was anybody picked up and put in handcuffs?
No. I mean, you see what they did with Peter Navarro. You see what they did with Bannon. Some of these people, they don't play softball. They'll show up, raid your house. They didn't do that with Alpha. I mean, if they've charged, maybe we're going to see maybe we're going to see them treated like the rest of us would get treated if we got charged with a traffic ticket or whatever the past DOJ had done. But no, we have DOJ charges, and I guess they're just waiting for the I don't know. It's not the treatment that, regular Americans got.
No, it's not. It's actually quite the opposite. And this gets down to the reality of are we going to at some point force people to tell the truth and to do truthful things? Are we going to talk about the Mark Eliases of the world that filed over 200 lawsuits and is being funded by some of these radicals across the world? Are we going to figure out who has their finger on the pulse and who's doing damage to the American people? Or does anybody even have an appetite for it? And I want to show this if I can. It was just revealed today that Reuters got $9 million to study large-scale social deception. These are the people that are telling us that we need to get rid of Doge, that we need to stop this, that Elon's doing damage. And let's go ahead and put this up if we can. There's a couple parts to this. So I'm gonna go through this timeline of events here. Reuters writes a hit piece against Doge. Musk tweets, I wonder what Reuters is being paid. Doge uncovers Department of Defense contract paying Reuters for large-scale social deception. So let's start with the first picture if we can. Musk's Doge cuts based more on political ideology than real savings so far. That's what Reuters wrote on February 13th. Elon Musk goes through and says, I wonder how much money Reuters is getting from the government. Let's find out. And Mario Nawfal says, DOD paid Reuters $9 million for social engineering program. Doge investigations reveal mysterious Defense Department payments to Reuters for large-scale social deception project between 2018 and 2022. While DARPA claims it was for cyber defense, questions swirl on why news agency received millions for social engineering. Next part is it goes through and shows you U.S. spending and the dates of that unique award. And at the bottom, it says active social engineering defense, large-scale social deception. That's the name of it. And somewhere along the line, we're going to get to who's going to jail. Who's going to jail? Apollo, who's going to jail? Here's another one that I think you have to know is that they're not trying to justify it. If you go to X, you have people that are saying things on X. Let me see. Let me just do this. I'm just going to go to the homepage and see what we can get because I don't know what's happening, but Elon keeps filling up my stuff with a bunch of radical leftists, the lefticals. You have Adam Schiff says, thanks, Elon. My salary is public, as is my financial report. But since you ask, when will you be releasing yours? Okay. How much is Schiff worth? How much is Adam Schiff worth? That's just a lot.
Question.
Okay, so how long has President Trump been in? This is how silly it is. We could literally just start at the top. This is how silly the left is. Senator Ruben Gallego says this. Now, this is the guy that was not elected that came from Arizona. He's a senator from Arizona. Okay? This clown literally was in a fake election elected in Arizona. By the way, they won't give anybody access to cast vote records because they said that the only people that are allowed to see it are the people that got elected. So President Trump said, I will immediately bring down prices starting on day one. Donald Trump said he would immediately bring down prices. Instead, Americans at the grocery store and the gas pump are watching prices soar while Trump is busy playing house with Elon Musk. And it says Arizona gas prices are being pushed by the tariff fears starting for higher demand. Apollo, aren't we paying like $2.50 a gallon right now?
Yeah.
So how is prices going up? They're just inflating them in Arizona. I mean, I'm trying. And then this guy's got a message. I didn't even play this yet, but the heading kind of told me it all. Here we go. Let's put this to you. This guy has a message from MAGA, you miserable, spiteful, hateful bitches. I want you guys to see who it is that they have standing up. They have standing up for the left. You got it, Apollo?
I need one more minute.
I mean, I don't have anything of any substance that are in my feed. John Pavlovich says it's staggering to consider the number of people who will become gravely ill or die because of RFK Jr.'s appointment to HHS secretary. Damon, a.k.a. Philly Finest, Donald Trump is the worst mistake in American history. Do you agree, yes or no? Oh, my gosh. MAGA cult slayer, I know you will absolutely shock you, but Trump and Elmo have been accused of stealing $80 million yesterday directly out of New York City's account. I can't. Here's another one. 20-year-old acting tough and mounting when police arrive. It's the officer's response justified. Puts him on his back. Okay, so there's one that wasn't related to. My whole feed is filled up with David Hogue. How did David Hogue get onto my feed? I know who can fix this, and he has a picture of butt plug. The AZ data group, Democratic Attorney General, are filing a temporary restraining order against Elon Musk and Doge. Arizona AG Chris Mays will be part of the suit. My whole thing is filled up with Liam Neeson. Hey, Trumpers, I got you a new hat. You know, I can't even tell you what that says. I don't have anything on my feed, Apollo, that isn't negative towards Trump. Nothing. The whole thing. How is it that my entire feed is filled with that? And it says it's for me, for you.
I mean, if you don't go looking for that, I mean, it's two things. Either maybe they thought because you were interacting, calling them little beaches, that you like them. But most likely it's just some weird algo stuff that really needs to get figured out. Because you see this every time like something goes around in the news. All of a sudden the algorithm just gets so stupid, and it's the most nonsensical, like polarized content, or it's total op garbage.
I mean, the whole thing is filled with leftist stuff. It's like they're trying to piss me off.
Maybe they are.
Need to take a different step. Go to the following one. Just get stuff that people I'm following. It's just crazy. The whole thing is crazy. And that's why I say it's kabuki theater, because we don't ever concentrate on the things that will lead to people being put in prison. Who is being held accountable? Who? Tell me who's being held accountable.
I mean, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I would love to say that, like, I'd wait for, like, I'd like to say, okay, let's be patient. And I know we have new administration, but like Americans are tired of that stuff. And I don't want to get into the whole like, well, it's coming. Because I mean, the reality is there's a lot of work to do. And we've been like, and I shouldn't say we, because it doesn't apply to everybody, but everyone's been like kind of waiting on their thumbs, like, oh yeah, we're going to get in and then everything's magically going to be fixed. And is there going to be some good things that happen during this administration? Sure. But it's like a hard sell for Americans after the last 4 years of being targeted and persecuted, and they did the J6 thing, and then we see some charges roll out. But I mean, you know, it's not fireworks, so you know, justice, what's the saying, rolls in on a donkey or something like that. But
man, check this out. Ready? Bernie Sanders said this: since Trump took office, life has gotten more expensive for working class people. Here's an idea. How about Trump fulfill his campaign promise and cap credit card interest rates at 10% for every American? So we can't cut taxes. We can't concentrate on the thing that is the problem. We have to concentrate on the thing that is the symptom to the problem. People have debt because the fucking government is taking 56 cents on every dollar from every American. Right? Because you don't own your own home. You can't buy your house, pay it off, work really hard to do that, and then just take a deep breath. No, because the government comes in and says, oh, every year, write us a check for 18, 20 grand. You say, well, those are state taxes. It doesn't matter. There's no way that you have peace. You don't have the ability to have freedom. You don't own anything. They just take it from you. You can't drive a car on the street without paying for it. You can't, I mean, make it make sense to me that you don't own anything. You make money on your money that you already paid taxes on, and they tax it. Take it. 56 cents on every dollar. Build a road, tax it. Help me. Help me. I'm serious. This is, and I'm going to say it the same way that I said it about the elections and Eric Coomer. Now we can finish it. Can we finish up with this little freak, this charade that we've had to deal with?
Yeah.
You guys, listen to me. You're not slaves. Quit acting like it. That's all I'm saying. And if you are a slave, gosh, I mean, maybe you like BDSM. Is it BDSM or BSM or whatever, that thing? Maybe you like it. Maybe you like the torture. Okay, so it keeps coming out. USB invested $400 million in the Dominion right before the election in 2020. Apollo, I reported on that back in April of 2021. I was working with Marco Polo. There was a guy named Raul, and Raul gave us all the information about working for a company literally out of Romania. And he worked for, take a guess, where did he work for? The CIA.
What? Oh, yeah.
Raul worked for the CIA. He's now in prison right now, by the way. So Raul was on the run for many, many, many years, couple years, because he was blowing the whistle on these people. And now he's in prison. He literally is in prison right now for standing up. And let me just go through that. Some of the information that I just got. Let's see if I can find it really quick. I was talking to him this morning. What's the name of the company really quick? Hold on. Here we go. So I was talking to one of the guys over at Marco Polo who did a bunch of work when we were talking to Raul back in the day. And there's a couple things that we found that are super important, right? And that was that there was a cut or let me see if I can send this to you, Apollo. You guys are going to want to hear this. That there's a connection between Fox IT, which is what Raul used to work on, and Dominion Voting System. So drop this in there. Got that one. Here, I just dropped you. Oh, you can only do one file at a time. Okay, I'll do that file first. So this document is kind of walks through all the connections between CGI, Seth Rich, John Ass, Sid McCauley, Dominion Enterprises, which is a subsidiary advertising and software out of Virginia for 2006. Who the key people were for Dominion Enterprises and the NCC group. So there's a whole platform for this that was written out. CGI awards IDIQ contract to continue mission support services for U.S. Department of Justice. Pushes in there as who is owned by, about CGI Federal. Then it talks about CGI's partner ecosystem and who it's connected to. So I'll put this out there so you guys can see it. But this is an entire. Do you have it yet or no? You're going through it?
Yeah, it's up.
So how Dominion Registries is tied to Dominion voting systems, how NCC groups connected to all the things that we're dealing with in our election systems. So we should put this up. Hand this over to see if we can get it up. Have JC put it all up.
Got it.
So I want to finish on this note, and this is the big one. We talked about Roaming Networks. Roaming Networks is the organization that built the data center for Dominion Voting System, and that money came from Huawei, which is a company out of China. It paid and invested in order to build the data center for Dominion Voting Systems out of Serbia that was then used in the United States. So you notice that Dominion was in Canada, Dominion was over in Serbia. That's the coders. You had people in the United States. That was run by a guy named Eric Coomer, who is Director of Strategy and Security. They had approximately, if you look at their peak and the numbers, the number of people, anywhere between, do the math, 1,200 people and 2,300 people. They had a lot of people. It wasn't just a single operation. Now, the head of that person, Eric Coomer, is an Antifa guy. You've got to look at the connections that he has compared to the radicalized nature of everyone else. How he got the job, how he went from Sequoia to Dominion, is responsible for some of the patents for adjudication. Just the downstream of Eric Coomer then related to Matt Crane related to his wife that worked for Dominion. Matt Crane then went and bullied Tina Peters. So if you put this up on a board, it looks like a jumbled mess. But it all leads back to John Polis and Eric Coomer. And Eric Coomer came out, sued me, sued a bunch of other people. And in a weird turn of events, I spoke. So Joe Altman came out and said, Eric Coomer is on that call. And I told everyone what happened on that call. Now, I was there. You know, John Tigan was supposed to be there. He had to fly out of town. He didn't. He did an affidavit. They throw that. They discount that. They discount my notes. Say my notes aren't true. They basically discounted everything. No matter what I say, Eric Coomer, the drug addict, Satanist, self-proclaimed skinhead, Antifite, that guy's telling the truth. But the guy that literally has a family, who doesn't have a bunch of freakoids running around, who didn't write about raping his wife, peeing on her, making her bark like a dog, that guy's telling a lie. But he's telling the truth. And all this other information you have about Dominion, about how they stole elections down in Georgia, Colorado, the information that people came out. These are real IT experts that came out. And the fact that I was able to predict what happened in the Georgia runoff race, all of that doesn't make a difference because Eric Coomer, damn it, is telling the truth. The guy that ran into a building in Salida, left the scene of the accident, almost killed someone, parked his car, went into a bar, and the first thing he thought about was, let's go drink some shots with the kitchen chef. Let's go in there. The kitchen staff, let's drink some shots with him. Cops show up, says, hey, do you know anything about this? He goes, no. The fact that you can't find that video, if you put it up, I'm going to try it. Apollo, have JC put it up on X on my account that says, for those of you that want to know who Eric Coomer is, I want the entire Joey video up there. The entire one. Okay?
Okay.
I bet you 120 people don't see it. They have literally found a way. I went to Grok and I was like, Eric Coomer ran into a building, lied about it 4 times, literally committed a felony and had his lawyer on the side of the road negotiate with the police to get him out of being charged with a felony after he lied over and over and over and over again. That guy is the guy that's telling the truth. And me, runs companies, does the things that I do, never had an issue with Satanist behavior or any of this other crazy shit that he has going on in his life. That's the guy that they get to demonize over a 4-year period of time. And then all this other stuff we found out about USB that I came out with back in 2021, predicting the outcome of the election. Apollo, did I not predict it almost to the T? But every fucking person out there on the left and the right basically says, well, Joe, you're just a little too aggressive. Was I wrong about the Senate runoff race in Georgia?
No, you called that like basically, I mean, to the period.
I'm clairvoyant though. That's why I see everyone's like, man, Joe, you're pissed. I kind of am right now because we see it all come out. And Peter Berninger, by the way, awesome dude. Dropped some heat today and yesterday. He dropped some heat. And I look at it and I was like, no shit. Well, I'm glad somebody's listening to it. All right. Now I'm just fuming to fume. All right, let's just say this. Let's just say this, okay? Eric Coomer, Dominion Voting Systems. We gotta sit down and literally do a play-by-play. We got to. It's time. I mean, nobody will be able to see it because they'll block it on every platform. But I think we should try, right? Should we try?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Eric, Google me Coomer. That's absolutely what he said. Google me. I've been under a lot of stress. If you're right, why are you under stress? That's the one thing I can say about me. Is I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'll go through this process, this kabuki theater. But at the same time that we go through this, can we at least admit that We got a bunch of evil people done a lot of bad things, and the only people that seem to get any sort of play are moron treasure hunters and hairdressers, because you get to punish whoever you want otherwise. Okay, let's pray. It's been a great day. I don't think I have anything more on my sheet, do I? Did I miss everything? Jason's going to yell at me if I did.
Just what's her face, Maxine. Hey, do you want to play Google my name?
Google my name. You want to play it?
I have it. I pulled it.
Yeah. Can we just end on that? Can I pray? And then I want everybody to watch this. Share this part, right? Do you have the full one? Because there's several of them.
I have the 15-minute one right now, which is cut up a little bit.
Let me see here. How Eric Coomer became the perfect villain for voting. Oh, man, I can't even. It makes me sick. Wait, what is this? This is a Facebook ad. Dominion voting systems. Eric Coomer went into hiding because of death threats following conspiracy theories that he rigged the election. Did you hear about Eric Coomer and his latest lie? They didn't settle for any money. Okay, sorry, I got a little preoccupied there. Everyone, by the way, we go live. So frankly, when I see something, I'll say something. Let's go to videos really quick. You have the 15-minute one?
Yeah, I have it queued up around the 13-ish minute mark, and the 15-minute one. That's where he's in the car.
You have the 15-minute one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cut up a little bit, so it jumps a couple times, but it's the 15 minutes of the cop showing up, and then him talking with the attorney. Attorney shows up, and then the end of the cop.
Let me see if I can find if both lawyers are in this one. Let me see here. Because there was another video that had even more stuff in it.
It cuts at one point. So the guy shows up, it's like 6 minutes in, and then there's a few minutes of the attorney talking with the officer while Coomer's standing in front of the place. And then it cuts to the car.
Okay, so there's a second one that is 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Let me see if I can send that one to you too, because this one had Charlie Kane in it too. Yep, there we go. Okay, here's another view with some extra stuff in it. So let's play them both. Can we play them both?
Yeah, you want them both full?
Let me show you this one, guys. You guys want to hear it? I'm done. Like I'm finished with the whole. Let's. Of course, I've kind of been. See if that does it for you. Does that take you where you need to go? September.
I can play the first one and then pull this one. I need a minute to pull that one you just sent me.
Okay, so by the way, it's two videos. It might repeat a little bit of it, but here's a picture. This other one that's 9 minutes 50 seconds has Charlie Kane putting his hand on Eric Coomer's back and
affecting the election categorically. Okay. Statements of me being on a call.
If you go to 8
affecting the election, saying that I would ever guarantee that Trump won are categorically false.
I want to have you do this for me on the second video. Can you grab that really quick?
The 9-minute one.
The 9-minute one. Did you pull it down? Tell me if you pulled it down, because I want everybody to hear this part real quick. And then we're going to play the whole thing. So you guys are going to see the entire thing in its entirety.
Okay, I just pulled it. What timestamp you want?
It is 8:50 or 8:48. And we're going to take that all the way through to 9:16. And then I'm going to have you stop it real quick, and I'm going to I want you to tell me what you just heard him say, because this will be telling, and how he said it.
All right, got it.
Got it?
Yep.
All right, play it.
Later, Eric gives his deposition.
I can say categorically statements of me being on a call, affecting the election, saying that I would ever guarantee that Trump won are categorically false, made up, and bullshit. Without a doubt. There is no evidence, and there never will be. So.
Okay, what did he just say, Apollo?
He said that there is no evidence, nor will there ever be evidence of him saying that Trump that Trump won't win. He made effing sure of it.
Nope.
That
That's
he
not what
was
he said.
ever
Go
on a
back and
call?
play it again.
Okay.
Go back and play it again. Play it one more time. Everybody, I want you to pay attention to what he said. Pay attention to his mannerisms, because you're going to see the guy absolutely lie with impunity over running into a building. I want you to pay attention to what he says. He was very purposeful in what he said. This guy's not stupid. Pay attention to exactly what he said. Go to 848, play it again.
Later, Eric gives his deposition.
I can say categorically statements of me being on a call, affecting the election, saying that I would ever guarantee that Trump won are categorically false, made up, and bullshit. Without a doubt. There is no evidence, and there never will be. So.
He said statements of me being on a call, et cetera, are bullshit. There is no evidence.
No, that's not what he said. Play it again. Listen to his words. Man, I said this to my attorney, and she was like freaking out. She's like, wow.
Two days later, Eric gives his deposition.
I can say categorically statements of me being on a call, affecting the election, saying that I would ever guarantee that Trump won are categorically false,
I missed
made
that.
up, and bullshit.
Guaranteeing that Trump would win?
Without a doubt. There is no evidence, and there never will be. So.
Okay, now, Apollo, what did he say?
He said statements of me being on a call, saying ensuring Trump would win. He literally misspoke to make it true. This little bitch.
He misspoke to do what?
To make his statement true.
Yes.
But he technically, because I was like half listening, I missed the ensuring that Trump would win, and he literally he phrased it in such a way that if you actually look at the deposition, he didn't lie there.
Yes. But when he did lie in the deposition, it came through crystal clear. Crystal clear. Like, are you Antifa? Simple question. But what you just heard, and this is what I want to push out to everyone. Look, it's been 4 years of hell. It's been literally 4 years of hell. And this guy and the rest of his little cronies at Dominion, they continue to this day to poke the bear and to piss all over the American people and lie with impunity and get held up by the judges in this state. True story. And he said, with a smug little look on his face, but he knew what he was saying. This guy is not an idiot. He's a nuclear engineer. He knew exactly what he was going to say. Apollo, I'd say we play the 9-minute one first, then play the 15-minute one. But let's pray out first so you guys can watch it. And then we'll cut this 9-minute one up and put it out there. The section, JC, that I talked about, play it again. I want you to play that again with our response on that as well, or cut that as well. So let's pray. Paul, why don't you pray?
All right. Well, you guys, thanks all for being here again. I know we have a budding YouTube channel, but thanks for everybody who's over there watching.
Budding YouTube
channel. It is back, by the way. The other video, it's back. So we have no strikes.
We have no strikes. Yeah, so they tried to strike us, but we didn't do anything wrong, so they gave us back our account.
It was actually my fault. It was the at the end there was that Dax video that I played, but they just let us cut it out, and it's back. So it wasn't actually a strike for any of the content. They put a notice on there about FEMA, and I thought that's what it was, but it was not. So we're all good there. No issues on YouTube yet.
Yeah. Well, there's only one person watching. We don't advertise it, so.
Well, we're about to.
All right.
We've made it through 72 hours of testing, so we'll roll with it for now.
Yeah, but we did get 27 people to sign up for it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've been seeing we've been getting new subscribers, so that's cool.
Not bad. I'll take it.
Well, Father, I'd like to ask for a little bit of patience because it's very, very frustrating to see now that we've been as we've been told, blessed with the new administration, that, again, things are moving slowly, that we don't see accountability. And I would just ask you to fulfill that for the American people, that we can see justice done fairly, that after we've been told that we're crazy, after we've been told that we're extremists, we've been robbed from, stolen from, we've been marginalized, people like Joe and our president and so many good Americans who are just trying to feed their families and stand up for their nation, they have been ripped away from any semblance of normal life, that they've been made to feel like they're the enemy of everyone. As we've been pushed onto our island, I ask that you give us a way to see and tangibly feel that our nation is being given back to us. I'd ask that you give us ways to actually restore one another. And I'd ask that accountability is a little bit swifter than perhaps we've been led to see thus far. I ask that we can have a fresh start. I ask that those who have been really in the trenches, that their efforts are rewarded, at least with results, but that we can find ways to make ourselves whole again. That we can look forward to another day in this country with a genuine smile and with joy. I'd ask that Tina be blessed. Please let her know that she is loved. Let those who are still in the hands of evil, let them see the light. And you know what, Father? Just give us a moment to just give us reasons to smile. Let them see the light. I'd ask that we have some reasons to smile in February, Father. Please make my brothers and sisters whole. Thank you for our audience, and thank you for every moment that we do have, because we know that you've placed us here for a reason. And I ask that we are able to see what that reason is and execute it. Amen.
Amen. All right, we're off to the races. You get to watch Eric for 23 minutes. I'm not done yet. We have so much more to push out, but I got to get some approval from attorneys on this before we go sideways. Let's play it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Watch this. If you want to see this is the guy that, by the way, is the head of strategy and security. I want you to pay attention to what you're about to watch. This is the guy that's responsible for 50% of the vote of the American people. And let me just tell you something else. He 100% is a self-described skinhead, but he's a good type of skinhead that's not a racist. That I don't even know how you square that, but that's his thought. He's a drug addict. He writes about raping his wife, who's not his wife anymore. I can't imagine why. This is the guy that literally wrote about and posted the Antifa manifesto. This is also the guy that wrote all the anti-Trump things that said that everyone in his company feels the same way that he does, that wanted everything to go. He did a public good, right? He worked on the voting systems of 50% of the vote of the American people, and he's above reproach. His boy Matt Crane said, oh man, Eric loves a little Eric. Now he's disappeared. And we've got to get to the bottom of it, get rid of machines and mail-in ballots. And now we even learned about more. $400 million goes to Dominion just days before the election. You tell me if this guy is the guy that you hang your hat on. Is he the perfect villain, or is he just the villain? Let's go ahead and play it.
Let's begin with some background. 6 days after the presidential election, on the Conservative Daily podcast, Joe Altman described an Antifa conference call.
As a call carried on, a person who called himself Eric was on the call. Now, I can't tell you if it's the same Eric, but I'm going to tell you how it led me to gather the rest of this information, right? I'm going to go through some of my notes here, okay? So he adds, basically, I have a bunch to add. This is the Eric speaking. We have prepared for the new future where we put down these fascist Fs, right? I'm not going to use the word because I want everybody to be able to hear this. Someone interrupts, who's Eric? Someone else answers, Eric is the Dominion guy, right? Now, the fact that Antifa knows that he's a Dominion guy and I'm on this call and everyone's like, oh, he's a Dominion guy. Okay. So go ahead, Eric, came from somebody else. So Eric responds. So actually, somebody actually interrupts first and says, what are we going to do if effing Trump wins? Right? As in somebody's frustrated and they're talking on this call. And he responds, and I'm paraphrasing this, right? Don't worry about the election. Trump is not going to win. I made effing sure of that. Ha, 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 ha. And everyone's like, yeah. And then somebody else responds, effing right.
Altman's investigation led him to Eric Coomer of Dominion Voting Systems. Eric is the former director of product strategy and security. Dominion provided voting machines in 40 states.
He's writing things on his Facebook page that say F the police. He's publishing the Antifa manifesto that came out in June. This guy literally is the guy that is actually handling security for an election company.
Eric Coomer sues Altman and 13 others for defamation of character. 2 days before Eric is scheduled to give a deposition in his defamation suit, he is under a lot of stress. He runs his car into a building.
I'm sorry, it's going to be SA9. And so what exactly did you see?
We were walking, we were coming around the corner towards us here.
And you were by Sweeties?
Around the corner, right in front.
Right where I contacted you? Okay. So
we were on the other side of the street. He was literally...
where he crashed into? Okay.
We were about as far as my cousin is right there. From it.
Okay.
We hit the bricks. He came, my cousin said, whoa! And I turned to look at him, and the truck came right in.
Okay, how fast do you think he was going?
I don't know. If he was 10, 15 maybe?
Okay.
I mean...
And did you see him run that stop sign?
He obviously didn't stop because it was in full progress. I mean,
full motion?
Yeah, it was. He didn't stop.
And then what did you see after he came through the intersection?
He stopped. Looked like his head bounced off the steering wheel. Still had the phone in his hand.
Okay.
Looked right at me. Put the car in gear. Looked back at his phone. Backed up. Checked his mirrors and went.
Okay. He's on foot?
Yeah. Parked the truck on near the Plum Tree Inn.
Plum Tree Inn?
Yeah. Took off on foot down the street.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that.
Tried to take his picture.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, so
I'll be right with you, sir.
I did. If you can zoom in, you can see some.
Did you see where he went?
Well, yeah, he was poorly walking back this direction after he ditched the truck.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Are you Eric?
Yeah.
So, were you driving your truck?
No, I've been here putting the order away.
Okay. Who was driving your truck?
I don't know.
Okay. So where is your truck?
It's 2 blocks down on the right.
Okay. And you just parked it there?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had anything to drink since you got here?
Yeah. Had a couple shots with the
Cook?
Okay. From where you parked there?
Came from my house, came down. I live up on the mesa.
Okay.
So I came down side route, came down Sackett, parked over there.
Okay. So what happened in between there?
Okay, I'm going to come around to the front.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. So you didn't hit a building?
No.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have your truck with damage on it.
Okay.
Matching damage to a building down there.
Okay.
And witnesses saying the guy in blue plaid got out of the truck and came back here.
Okay.
So you're saying that wasn't you?
No.
Okay. You understand why that's hard to believe? That...
Understood.
But you...
So you had a little accident down there, huh?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. There are tons of witnesses down there described you to a T. So you can either be honest about it or you can stick to your story.
Not sure what you're asking about.
The accident that happened right over here.
Not sure what you're
Second
asking
G.
about.
You weren't driving and had an accident in your own vehicle?
Not that I recall.
Not that you recall. Okay. We'll go with that then.
I'm going to have you stay here till that witness comes down.
Sure.
I'll have you step out. I'm not going to put you in handcuffs or anything. I'm just going to have you step out when they get here.
Okay. This gentleman's his attorney. He's just wanting to know what's going on.
Nice to meet you.
Mike?
Brad.
Brad.
This is Brad Clower of the law firm Kane & Skernoulis. They are representing Eric in his suit. They have an office just around the corner. Of local interest, Kane & Skernoulis also represent Allison Brown in her lawsuit against Chaffee County.
Well, basically, long story short, he crashed into the building down here, then almost hit some people in the intersection, and then hit his car down there and walked into the Fritz. People saw him, people took pictures of him, people ID'd him, but rather than get a ticket for a car accident, a property damage car accident with no injuries, he'd rather go to jail for a felony because he wants to lie to us. So I'm going to charge him with attempting to influence a public official and probably impound his truck. Just wants to talk to him, and then you give him a quick Miranda, and he gives you a statement like, yeah, I missed the corner and crashed, and give me my tickets, then we'll cut him his traffic tickets and move on. Like,
Hey, Aiden, you still rolling?
I think Eric wants to clear up something. Okay. So, walk me through what happened.
I was on my phone.
Okay.
I've been under a lot of stress.
Okay.
I hit the building and I panicked.
Okay. So you were on your phone, didn't watch that stop sign, just went straight through it. Okay. So hit the building and then you drove down here to where we're at now.
And I went to work.
Okay.
I panicked. You can Google my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mentioned this to my co-counsel, Charlie Kane. He's going to take.
This is Charlie Kane, of the law firm Kane & Skernoulis.
Hey, Charlie. Hey, how are you? Lance Cliff. Nice to meet you.
Lance, good to meet you.
Yes, sir. This is Officer Aiden Osborne. Aiden Osborne.
Aiden. Hi, Charlie Kane. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Just stick with him until you're feeling okay, all right?
I got it.
Thank you, sir.
2 days later, Eric gives his deposition.
I can say categorically, statements of me being on a call, affecting the election, saying that I would ever guarantee that Trump won are categorically false, made up, and bullshit. Without a doubt. There is no evidence, and there never will be. So.
one of the bed and breakfasts, Plum Street Inn or something like that, and took off on foot. I'm going to have 8 go over there and secure the vehicle.
Holy crap.
I'm sorry, it's going to be SA9.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Are you Eric?
Yeah.
So, were you driving your truck?
No, I've been here putting the order away.
Okay. Who was driving your truck?
I don't know.
Okay, so where is your truck?
It's 2 blocks down on the right.
Okay, and you just parked it there?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had anything to drink since you got here?
Yeah. Had a couple shots with the cook.
Okay. Do you mind if we step out back and talk for a
Yeah.
second? Yeah. I'm just, my partner was going to the back door.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
I'm in contact with coming for you.
Yeah, no worries. Absolutely.
I apologize. I thought this went to the alley.
No, done.
Okay.
No worries.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
So, how long ago did you park down over there?
Sorry?
How long ago did you
Like half hour ago?
Half hour? Okay.
Oop. Yeah.
Oop, there we go.
No.
So, F you. So, walk me through your route to get from where you parked there.
Came from my house, came down. I live up on the mesa.
Okay.
So I came down side route, came down Sackett, parked over there.
Okay. So what happened in between there?
Okay, I'm going to come around to the front.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. So you didn't hit a building?
No.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have your truck with damage on it.
Okay.
Matching damage to a building down there.
Okay.
And witnesses saying the guy in blue plaid got out of the truck and came back here.
Okay.
So you're saying that wasn't you?
No.
Okay. You understand why that's hard to believe?
Understood.
But you were the only person driving your vehicle?
As far as I know.
Okay. And you parked it 2 blocks up on the street there? Okay. Eric, go ahead and step out for me one more time. So, I'd like to give you another opportunity. I feel like I've been more than fair with you, but give you the opportunity to explain what actually happened here.
Units. Here we go. You ready to report?
The witness came by and ID'd you, so at this point,
4x4 pickup truck.
We're at Fort Hill Road. This officer can take you to jail.
Boy,
Okay. I'm going to charge you with felony misinformation along with all the traffic stuff.
Okay.
Or you can cut the nonsense. He cuts your ticket for the crash, and we move on with life. It seems goofy to me to jam yourself up with more charges when you've obviously responsible for this thing is property damage. But it doesn't make any sense to me.
Understood.
So.
Like you said, we're at a fork in the road. The choice is yours.
Understood. You can talk to my attorney.
Okay. Go ahead and turn around. Put your phone back for me.
Yep.
Do you have any knives or anything like that in your pockets? Anything that's going to cut, poke, stick me?
No.
Okay. Just hang out there for a second.
Yep. Ask Scott if you got any phone on the radio.
It's sitting on his seat.
Did he pull a number on?
Yeah, it's I can't remember the number on it. Nothing in your pockets up here?
Nope.
Wouldn't have a seat for me. Reach around for the seat. Nope, no worries.
Get it out.
Okay. This gentleman's his attorney. He's just wanting to know what's going on.
Nice to meet you. Mike? Brad. Well, basically, long story short, he crashed into the building down here, then almost hit some people in the intersection, and then hit his car down there and walked into the Fritz. People saw him. People took pictures of him. People ID'd him. But rather than get a ticket for a car accident, a property damage car accident with no injuries, he'd rather go to jail for a felony because he wants to lie to us. So I'm going to charge him with attempting to influence a public official and probably impound his truck. Not very smart over a car wreck, but that's where it sits.
Well, can you tell me what he is lying about?
Lying about being involved.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
He's denying it.
I misunderstood. Okay.
He's acting like the keys are in his pocket. His car's down here, and the whole downtown watched him do this, and he's going, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
so
then
he's not very smart.
Then he had alcohol on him, but he went in there and said he had 2 shots, which, I got to hand it to him. That was smart on his part.
Yeah, he got out of his DUI, but he's not very smart with regard to a property damage accident, and he has insurance, so whatever. Unless you want to try to talk some sense into him, he's sitting down here in the police car. Literally, it's going to be careless driving, leaving the scene, and probably running the stop sign. That's the worst he's looking at over. But anyway,
okay.
If he wants to sit in jail and post a bond, I guess that's up to him. And
so you just need him to acknowledge that he was
well,
involved.
yeah, I don't understand the logic. I mean, if it was a question what happened, but he just took a witness by, and there's 2 more witnesses that watched this happen, and we didn't stumble across his car. They told us where he parked and watched him walk into the Fritz. And he's going...
Yeah, and I got a picture of his truck. Somebody took a picture of him leaving the accident scene. I asked him, about the accident, and he said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's probably invoking what you've told him to a fault of it's harming him now. I mean, it's goofy.
So if he'll acknowledge that he was involved with this, he doesn't need to go down to the police station?
Well, I don't need to charge him with, it's essentially the new false reporting statute, which is attempting to influence a public official. But at this point, there's ample evidence, like, dude, you crashed into a building, just get your insurance information to the owners and get your ticket.
Get your ticket and be on your way. But he wants to try to say that he had nothing to do with it. He doesn't know anything about it whatsoever.
So the keys are in his pocket.
So if he acknowledges that he can get his ticket and go on his way?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to provide a statement like, here's what happened, what they said is he missed the intersection coming northbound on G, basically
drove into the building across the street. You just provide a statement.
He didn't stop at the stop sign at G and Sackett, drove through it, drove up on the curb, hit the building. People said that he was on his phone. He looked around, and then the witness said that he looked at his phone again, put it in reverse, looked in his rearview mirror, backed up. One of the guys took a picture of him as he was backing up and leaving. He drove down here, parked his truck. Another lady was on scene. She took a picture, which is not a great picture, but of him walking from the truck back down this direction, westbound, because she said he was coming back toward the accident. So, and we knew he owned this place.
Man did it, and then
Go ahead.
stuck the keys in his pocket.
Okay, so you're telling me if based on his denial of
10-9.
involvement, he's facing a potential felony?
Yeah, I'm just going to jail him because at this point it's...
But if he acknowledges his involvement,
Yeah, he just
he's
wants
going to
to
have a
take
misdemeanor, he's going to walk
responsibility.
out with a ticket for
Yeah, I don't even know if
traffic
it's...
Pay for him.
Yeah, I don't
They're
even
there to tow the truck now, so.
Yeah, he said... Is Aiden still down there with him, or did he go to jail already?
Hayden, are you still on scene?
If he wants to swing him by here and his attorney wants to talk some sense into it, we're not trying to make...
Okay, hold off just a second before you transport him to the jail.
You know,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
why be, I think there's a point where you're better off just going, yeah, I screwed up, get your traffic ticket and move on.
Yeah, right. I mean, if he's got insurance and stuff, that's all they want is the damage covered. I mean, they're not... I met with the property
He's not
manager
going to get a DUI because they didn't catch him. I mean, he's got an articulable argument that he went in there and drank. So, okay. So you going to bring him by?
I can ask him to, but I think he's on scene with A1 down there, so...
I can head that way, too,
walk
if that's
back
easier.
down. Tell Aiden to wait there.
Yeah, he is. He's still on scene.
Stay there and we'll walk down.
Okay.
Thanks, Kylie.
So you had a little accident down there, huh? No?
No.
Okay. There are tons of witnesses down there described you to a T. So you can either be honest about it or you can stick to your story.
Not sure what you're asking about.
The accident that happened right over here,
Not sure what you're
second
asking
G.
about.
You weren't driving and had an accident in your own vehicle?
Not that I recall.
Not that you recall. Okay. We'll go with that then.
Driver?
Yeah, this is Eric. He doesn't recall.
All right, we're going to need to pound that then. He's going to need to take a
Yeah, we got a tow truck coming.
He's going to need a license retest too then also.
Okay. Do you have your driver's license on you?
Yep.
Okay.
Make sure we do leave the scene, failure to report.
Careless driving?
I'd do reckless.
Okay.
Even though he ran into something, then
Okay.
that's more of a concern than anything else.
Might be DUI too because he'd been drinking.
I had nothing to drink before I showed up at work.
Say around the stop sign before that or just after?
Well,
second. So we...
All right, sorry. Hear me out while I read these, and I'll have two questions for you at the end. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present while you are being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you for any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statement. Do you understand each of these rights that I've explained to you?
I do.
Having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to me now?
I do.
Okay. So, walk me through what happened.
I was on my phone.
Okay.
I've been under a lot of stress.
Okay.
I hit the building and I panicked.
Okay. So, you were on your phone, didn't watch that stop sign, just went straight through it?
I did.
Okay. So, hit the building and then you drove down here to where we're at now?
And I went to work.
Okay.
I panicked. You can Google my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so missed the stop sign, did hit the building, but then panicked from there and just parked, went to work, and we're going to deal with it later.
1075 Motors.
Type situation. Okay.
Phone, go ahead.
Is there anything
Colorado
else you want to add to
temporary
that?
plate 330-9788 on a blue Hyundai Accent.
Eric, go ahead. Hop out for me.
On your location. I would hit the 246.
Sergeant Cliff over here. I'm going to take these off you. As I take this off, just reach down and grab your pant leg for me, right?
Clear. I'm a 2021 Hyundai blue color. Firing unit 21 out of Kansas.